Hello friends. Today I wanted to discuss about Yuga Dharma. Let me explain or define this terminology. Yuga Dharma means how to adjust in the current times, or what should we do, what should be done in the current times. Every era is defined how we differentiate between different yuga or era. So in general, I would say you can divide every era in socio-politico-economic sense, spanning 250 years to around 400 years. And who defines this socio-political and economics? Every era, these new sages or philosophers, social philosophers, राजनीतिक शास्त्र के जो पंडित, अर्थशास्त्र के पंडित, and who define social philosophers, they come and they propose a philosophy, social philosophy. Based on that, if we see briefly the Indian history from the Mahatma Buddha era, around 2500 BC, then came Mauryan Empire, 350 BC, 325 BC, which lasted only about 175 years, till 250 BC. So not 100, only 100 years, 75 years, 3 generations, right? Chandragupta Maurya and then Bindusar and then Ashoka, Samrat Ashoka. 3 dynasties spanning about 75. And then after Ashoka, the Mauryan empire declined within 50 years. So by 200 BC, Mauryan empire gone. So Buddhist era, how long it lasted? 500 BC to 200 BC, 300 years. Then came the Shunga dynasty and Brahmanism came. So that was the Iranian invasion, Parthians, Kushanas, Shakas, right? Shakas. Who were the Shaka? That already I discussed. that they were the same Aryan or Jaat, what we know as Ajgar today, who later formed the Rajput cult. So Messagatae was the Scythian empire, great empire, which formed from 800 BC till 200 BC in the Central Asia. From Don Danube River, their empire was spread from Danube Don rivers to Amudarya or Oxus River in the delta of Aral Sea. Tajikistan, all these Stan states, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. So all this area was dominated by the Scythians, and it was known as, जैसे महाराष्ट्र आज बोलते हैं महाराष्ट्र, वैसे ही इनको बोलते, उस समय उन्होंने नाम दिया था मेसागेटे, महागेट का साम्राज्य. गेट मीन्स जाट, जाट का ही अपभ्रंश है. So these branches of Shakas, Scythians, spread in west, in Ukraine, Germany, Holland, and one branch spread to Israel and Iran, and the third branch, which came from the Turkmenistan and all that border state between Afghanistan, Iran, or eastern, or in the Sialkot area, means Punjab, northwestern India. These tribes, the predominant among them were two tribes, Arjunayan and this Arjunayan and other Mithras. Mithras who migrated, the exact name is not coming to my mind. So they migrated, this Iranian and all, the Shakas basically, who were the branch of Scythians, Jata. They came to India. They are same as Parthians. Parthians known in India as Pehlavas, this Yadavas clan. So if you read about Parthians, they had the same. They were keeping the Mayur Pankha, like a Krishna. Krishna wore the Mayur Pankha, you know. So, and this Mayur Pankha was traded by them at the time of King Solomon, 100,000 BC in Israel, who made the gold palace. That gold was imported from India by these Jatas. So these Jats were not limited to Central Asia only, they were spread all over Middle East and Europe also. The Celts, Irish, they were all ancient Aryans. So Aryan migration already I discussed in the ancient times in the Bronze Age. But I am talking about the Iron Age, where the Scythians, they spread all over, same like Aryans spread earlier all over. And they were the same people, Aryans, Scythians. These are basically agricultural community which was known as Jata, Jaat, as mentioned in our Rig Veda and other literature, ancient most literatures, and as mentioned by Megasthenes in Indica, as mentioned by the Iranian historian Um, my memory going weak. So there are several references for these Jatas Gate community tribes who formed a confederation known as Messagatae, Scythians. And then the branch which came to Iran, which is known as earlier was known as Aryan became Iran. Aryak became Iraq, and then Aryavart in India became Bharat. So what is Bharat was earlier Aryavart. Bharat was the Bharat clan, which was limited Punjab, Kurukshetra. So don't think that Bharat, as we know today, which is spread all over in the South India as well. So the Bharat or India as Bharat is not same as India, because Bharat was a terminology used at the times when it was limited to, their empire was limited to north of India's or Aryavart. Later they came to South India as well, but then it was not known as Bharat anymore. So I was discussing about different eras, Maurya Empire based on Buddhism, then Shunga Empire, Brahminism, then different empires. Gupta Empire were mixed. Gupta Empire where kings were, some of the kings were Buddhist, some were in what you know as Hindu today. But Hindu terminology used by the Muslims after the invasion of Muslim and Islam. Before that there was no Hindu, but it was known as Vaishnava Dharma, or different names were there. So Gupta Empire, which was mixed of Buddhism and this one. And when we talk about Buddhism and all, there is not single Buddhism. There are three forms of Buddhism as we know. The Mahayana, Hinayana and Vrajayana. So the branch of Buddhism which focus on the teachings of Buddha is known as the ancient most Hinayana. The branch which focus on the statue, so when the Greek influence came in India, 200 BC again. So 200 BC there was the Shunga Empire and Greek Empire also in northwest India. So Greek followed Mahayana, means they formed the statue of Buddha, and then the worship concept, right? Statue. So that is Mahayana. So who were the followers of Mahayana Buddhism? From Shakala, Tibet to northwest of India, Punjab province, all these Jatas, Greek, Parthians, Kushanas, all they adopted under the Greek influence and Buddhism influence, both. Nagarjuna. So Maninder had a debate with the Nagarjuna. He was greatly influenced by Nagarjuna philosophy and he adopted Mahayana. So different era, different Gupta, and then Vardhana came. Vardhan Samraj again he adopted Shaivism, or you call it, or Shaivism that time, as I said, till the Vardhan Samrajya, 650, 650 AD, there was no Hinduism. And Vardhana, and in the east there was a Pala Empire and Assam Empire, right? And Pala Empire also was divided in two parts, West, like today, West Bengal and East Bengal. So Gaud Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh, right? So then eventually Vardhana defeated the Palas and conquered even the eastern India. So by that time, Buddhism was totally declined, in the decline mode. And it took the form, so Hinayana, Mahayana both declined, and then the Vajrayana or Tantra became prominent after 7th century. So Buddhism, Brahmanism, Hinayana, Mahayana, different philosophy, different era. Then Tantra era. After Tantra era, there was a Nath Yogis. So yoga. And then decline of yoga with the Vaishnavism or Bhakti. So 5 Jagat Gurus from 800 AD to 1200 AD. In this 400 years were dominated by 5 Jagat Gurus who brought the Vaishnavism in India. And after 1200 AD, there was Bhakti Yuga. Bhakti Yuga 1200 to 1600, 400 years again, in which there was divided in two parts again, Nirakar Brahma and Sakar, incarnation, and Brahma is one or he is many, God is many or God is one. So these are the two schools of thoughts that time. But since India was mix of so many tribes and cultures, each having their own gods, so this single god concept was alien to Indians. It came from Abrahamic culture. Abrahamic culture means which flourished in Israel. 3 branches, Yahudi, Christianity and Islam. Those were monotheist culture. In India, there was no monotheism. It is many gods because of many tribes in India, each having their own god. So, Vaishnavism. Then after 1600, decline of Bhakti Yuga also, right? And then there was a dominance of Islam from 1600 till you can say 2000, not 2000, 1900, about 300 years. Because then ruthlessly the Nadir Shah they all, after Aurangzeb, 1600 to 1700, 100 year, Aurangzeb lived a long life, and that time Bhakti Yuga was on decline, Vaishnavism. All Jagat Gurus gone, right? But here and there, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mirabai, that kept those big few saints still kept the Vaishnavism alive It is not that Vaishnavism has totally died, it is even prevalent today. For that matter, Buddhism is also there. For that matter, Brahmanism is also there. So all ism is there already. Nothing died totally, but declined. So the modern era, as we know, is the Reformation era, which started in early 20th century by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, which is a mix of Indian thoughts and English thoughts. So modern thinking of India, the people who are modern or current era, Yuga Dharma. What is the current Yuga Dharma? It is a mix of religion as we know it and science. Science became the major component, right? We started seeing the things in the light of science, right? So the current era, the main feature is the scientific thinking mixed with, and that does not mean that I am scientific thinker, so I don't have any religion or any belief. But people are playing both. So this is called the hypocrisy, whatever you say. And for that matter, everybody is hypocrite at all time, everywhere. Right? Bhakti does not mean that somebody is great bhakta, so he is totally blind in the love or something. He cannot see the truth, or he or she does not think about any other person, or he's focused totally on the one deity or God. It is not like that, right? Even Mirabai, she used to worship Krishna in the first phase. Then, after she met her guru Raidas, she started chanting Ram Nam. Pajo ji maine Ram Ratan Dhan payo. So, if somebody is Krishna devotee, does not mean that he or she is not a Rama devotee or not a Ganesha devotee. So, for that matter, hypocrisy is there everywhere. So, somebody with a scientific outlook cannot say that he does not believe in any god or religion. If he is saying, he is deceiving himself and others. So what should we do? What is the right way? A right approach by the so-called learned or people of introspection or chintan जो लोग करते हैं, or people who are having a philosophical temperament or spiritual inclination, who are not in the herd mentality, driven by the herd mentality. The common people are known as Janta. Yeah? And Janta is like people who are having a herd mentality, who think similar way, similar beliefs. So if you, obviously, big country like India, he is not having one kind of Janta. If you are saying Indian Janta, it does not make any sense. Public, who is this public? In India, there is not one public. India is a republic. Republic means many kinds of public. Lokatantra, there are many lokas. Lokas means many kind of people. It is not that one kind of sheep only. There may be sheep, there may be goats, there may be some other herds, cow herd, goats, pigs. So all chickens, all kind of people are there. So India is not one country, is a country of republic. It is a republic of many, many states. You cannot call it states only because every state also having many kind of people, right? So at the time of independence, India was divided in 550 provinces. So roughly speaking, you can at least think of 550 lokas or kind of people or cultures in India. Ethnicity, you can call it ethnicity or culture or kind of people or Sanskriti. And if you tend to think in your that there is one Sanskriti prevailing in India, India is one nationalism, and nationalism is one culture, like in European countries or any other place in India, which is small countries, which is not even smaller than even our states, Indian states, right? Like in UP only, there may be 4 or 5 big countries. If you combine together, it will be just become as big as our Uttar Pradesh. So India is a Ganatantra, Lokatantra, and what we mean by Loka, there is not one Loka. If you think that all humans are same, that is figment of your imagination. There are many human species. Even if you see from the DNA point of view, India is divided at least 3 parts. Eastern India, predominantly this Chinese Mongolians race. Northwest, North India, Aryan Shakas race, Iranian. South India, Indus Valley people or Dravidian people as we know it, African origins. So there, from race point of view, at least there are 3 races in India, predominantly. Ethnicity point of view, as we discussed, there are more than 500 ethnicity at the time of independence. And ethnicity and languages point of view, if you see, so the modern states are divided in India based on languages. 27, 30, I don't know how many national languages are there. So in India, there is Hindi is not a national language. It is not accepted by everyone. And most of the affairs are conducted in English only. So different ethnicity, different races, different languages, different deities, different philosophies, different cultures, and India is the mix of all these things. Tantra means mixing. Tantra means binding. So India is binding. Binding means binding of what? Different ethnicity, different races, different languages, different cultures, different philosophies. So which philosophy is predominant in India currently? The modern times, India, when country became independent, that is called the birth of a country, right? So India was born. India or Bharat was the old terminology. I don't know, still our constitution carries it. It has no relevance today. Or Hindustan. Hindustan means mix of Hindu and Muslim. That is also irrelevant today because there are not only 2 religions in India. So calling it Hindustan does not make sense to me. India, name given by the English, derogatory name to the tribals, uncivilized people, what it literally means. Indians means uncivilized. That's the literary meaning of it. Same way Hindu were derogatory in the Farsi language. Derogatory word used for Hindus. Like we also use the word Maleksha for certain people or Muslims who are untouchables, right? So these terminologies does not make any sense. Does the Maleksha make any sense today, modern life? No. Does the calling India as Hindustan makes any sense? Calling India as India, uncivilized place or place of tribals, are Indian tribals today? All Indians? Does not make any sense. But then we have to accept certain terminology. So as per our constitution, when India was born in 1947, but Indian constitution was born in 1950, the terminology used is India or Bharat or Hindustan. These three, right? So all three are taken as synonymous, though it has a different context, as I already explained. Historical context, and which are totally irrelevant, calling it India or Bharat or Hindustan, right? So ideally India should have been called like Russia to earlier USSR or United States of America. So India should be called United States of India or United States of Bharat or whatever. Simply calling it India does not make any sense. But these are just from the philosophical point of view. Because India is not one entity. India is the one entity. It's a unity. Unity means binding, means Ganatantra, means it is like different fibers, like it is not 100% cotton. So it may have spandex mix 5%, it may have nylon mix 10%. So it is not 100% one uniform entity. It is unity in diversity. Not one race, not one ethnicity, not one language, not one culture, not one God, not one dharma. So, what is the current era dharma or right way of thinking? This is what I am explaining you is the right way. But there has been efforts by political system, as in every era, from Maurya to Guptas to Vardhan to Mughal to English period. Every era they try to make it one country, one unit, uniform culture, uniform one religion. Like America is bent upon creating a one world scenario. What is one world scenario? That they are the ruler of the world. One ruler. Imperialism. One world government. Which is the one world government? Central Bank of United States. US dollar is the reserve currency. Whole world should trade in US dollar, and they have liberty to print at will as much US dollar they want, they can print. This is called one world government, whose currency is US dollar. US dollar is the world currency of exchange, import, export. Any goods has to be imported or exported in US dollar. This was the idea, which failed eventually, bound to fail. Any such attempt to color in one color everything, such a big nation of multi-ethnicity, diverse cultures, languages, philosophies, gods, any such attempt to make it single culture, single religion, this is the height of madness. This thinking, as per I think there cannot be any two thoughts about it. Even if you have studied till 10th of standard, little bit of social science, or if you know little bit about world history, then you know this kind of madness of imperialist thoughts. So in modern times, what is the Yuga Dharma? You know, now there are different philosophies, neoliberalism, neoconservatism. So I did not discuss about the European Revolution, the philosophers, New Age philosophers, their impact, Marx to Lenin, and different kind of communism, capitalism, socialism, all this ism I did not discuss, because now it is replaced with the neoliberalism, neoconservatism. So every place neo. Now you can use the terminology neo-Hinduism. So now Hinduism today is not same as Hinduism before. We know that. In my childhood, the Hinduism was totally different than the Hinduism today, which is highly derogatory, and it is, I even call it shameful to be called Hindu today. And many of, I am not alone in this. So all Dalits, they are leaving Hinduism. What does it mean? They are leaving the modern neo-Hinduism. They are not leaving the old Hinduism. Understand the difference. So I beseech, I implore all of you who are not sensible enough to think and see the difference between neo-Hinduism or Hindutva as we know it, which is confined or bogus concept, extremist concept, belligerent or आतंकवादी सोच, फासिस्ट सोच, communal सोच, this communal fascist, आतंकवादी, dominance, differentiation based, ऊंच नीच based, who are superior, who are inferior by birth. By birth, there are people who are some superior people, not by their qualifications or qualities or anything. By birth, there are certain high class people and low class people. By birth, not even by wealth or status, nothing. They are assuming high status by birth. They are such a derogatory, niche, जिसको बोल सकते हैं, और क्या बोल सकते हैं इसको, जो सोचे कि कोई बच्चा पैदा हुआ एक गरीब परिवार में या एक दलित फैमिली में, तो वो बच्चे के ऊपर लेबल कोई लगा दे कि ये नीच है, और कोई एक ब्राह्मण परिवार में पैदा हो जाए तो उसके ऊपर लेबल लगा दे कि ये ऊंचा है. But this is elevated soul, this is degraded soul. Because his birth is at the lower family, lower class of family. जाति में लोअर नॉट क्लास जाति, तो जिसका जन्म नीच जाति में हुआ वो पापी सोल है, और जिसका जन्म ब्राह्मण जाति में हुआ वो कोई एलिवेटेड सोल है. ऐसी सोच वालों को क्या बोलेंगे आप? तो व्हाट इज द न्यू हिंदुइज्म, विच इज हिंदुत्वा, इज द हाईली कम्युनल. They expose themselves, they are not hiding. In fact, they were hiding before. So for last 80-90 years they were hiding. They were trying to assume or acquire some alter identity, alter ego, right? They were taking sides of people who are gone. Like sometimes they were taking sides of Subhash Chandra Bose or Patel or anybody. They tried. This is their approach. Used to be their approach, but now they are totally exposed in the scientific era. This modern information technology and all. So they are totally exposed now in the social media and everywhere. So they cannot hide behind. So it is in the current age. Dharma is, you cannot hide. You are totally naked. That is the beauty of info age. Even if you are not active, don't be active on social media. Don't be very vociferous. Don't say so many things. Daily basis I hear this from my friends, from my relatives. Why you are writing all these things? You are not writing, but everybody knows about you. Do you believe that anybody can say that they are, even if they are not speaking, people know about them? You cannot hide. By not speaking, you are speaking actually. If you are not speaking against the crime, that means you are criminal. Or you are with criminal. So very clear, no? When the crime is very clear, everybody saying something against the crime, like what happened in Manipur, and you are not saying anything, that means you are known. We know now what is your stand. You are with the perpetrators of those crimes. You are accomplice in the crime. Right? We know who these people very clearly. You cannot hide. Every children knows today about people, about politicians. This is the biggest problem, a challenge with the politicians now. Today doing politics is not easy because you cannot hide. तो हमारे थे गणेश जी बोले कि दिखाने के दांत अलग रखो, खाने के अलग रखो. That used to be very good philosophy. Yes. But today, is it possible? तो आपकी अंतरात्मा कचोटेगी कि आई एम कीपिंग, मेरे खाने के दांत अलग हैं, दिखाने के अलग हैं. मेरे जो खाने के दांत हैं वही टूट जाएं तो वहां पर आपको, चलो वो दिखते नहीं है तो वहां पर हम बोलेंगे कि वहां पे डाल दो कोई भी मेटल का दांत. बट अगर सामने के दांत टूट जाएं तो आप कौन सा लगाओगे? कॉस्टली वाला ना, जो कि बिल्कुल नेचुरल लगे, उसमें पता ना चले कि वो चमकता हुआ दिखे सिल्वर की तरह. या तो आजकल तो यू कैन नॉट हाइड. करंट युग धर्मा इज First thing you remember, you cannot hide. And you must, by keeping silence is not an option. Introvert and extrovert used to be some philosophy some time back. They used to think this आदमी introvert है, ये extrovert है. ये सब नहीं चलेगा. ये मैं तो introvert हूँ, मैं तो बोलता नहीं हूँ ज़्यादा. अगर आप नहीं बोलते हो, तो you will not be called introvert, but you may be crooked, or you may be very cunning person. You may be labeled. So better, if you don't speak, there are chances of you being misunderstood more. So better clarify. Come out. Tell who you are. What is your position? What is your stand? This is the Yuga Dharma. Thank you.